Hello kids. All right, I'm going to start the homework with you for exercise 3, and there's a couple questions in here that maybe might be a little bit tricky, so I thought I would help you out and give you a boost up. And so we are going to do a couple questions from here. So for exercise 3, you do full diagrams, which means it includes modifiers, for the odds. So you're going to do full diagrams for 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Now that is in that diagram sheet that I sent home with you. Now, since you're doing full diagrams for the odds, you're going to do baselines for the other ones, which ends up being the evens. Oh, you know what's cool about using a pencil? I can erase that. So, we're going to do number 2 and number 3, okay? So number 2, Roberto Felix Salazar obviously took pride in his ancestors. That's his name. Look for the nouns first. That is a proper noun with wings. That is his first, middle, and last name. Took pride, ancestors, that's a noun. All right, which Roberto Felix Salazar? Oh, we don't have any modifiers. Which ancestors? His ancestors. Next, we see any pronouns. Nope. Oh, you know what? I missed something. Pride is actually a noun. And then we say which pride? Nope, we don't have anything for that. Then we have preposition. And what did Roberto Felix Salazar do? What did he do? He took. So since this is an even numbered problem, you don't need to do a full diagram on the diagram sheet. You can do a baseline right next to it. So do a baseline. And because his name is kind of long, you can shorten it to RFS. And what did he do? He took. That's it. That's all you need to do for the baseline. You have your subject spot, you have your verb spot, and that's all I need you to do. Now, this noun, in a couple units, we're going to talk about where that goes on our diagram, but you don't need to know it right now. Right now, the only thing you need to know, because we're doing the subject and verb unit, is what is our subject and what is our verb. All right, let's look at number 3. This is the one where students can get confused. When you have things in quotations, you kind of treat them as a whole unit. And so here, since they're capitalized, this is going to be a proper noun with wings. Roberto Felix Salazar, proper noun with wings. Accomplishments, that is a noun. Pioneers is a noun. Isn't Texas a noun? Let's go back and check. Which pioneers? There isn't a modifier. Which Roberto Felix Salazar? There's nothing modifying that. Which accomplishments? The accomplishments. Which pioneers? This is where we find out that Texas is not actually acting as a noun. It's telling you which pioneers. It is acting as an adjective. And which pioneers? These pioneers. Then we go through and find our prepositions. By, always a preposition. Parentheses, please, because we got to the noun, so we close that parenthesis. Of, always a preposition. Of, and then you get to, when you get all the way to the end of the noun, then you close it. We have one word left that we need to label. Celebrates. Is that a mental or physical action? Heck yes, it is. That is an action verb. Now I am going to show you, after we've labeled our sentence, we're going to take this packet out, our subject and verb packet, which has our answer keys, but it also has, at the back, our diagram sheets. And that is also where you're going to get your numbers. So it tells you which numbers you need to do, because these are the ones that have a full diagram. Now, number 1 looks like a baseline diagram because we're not diagramming anything else in there yet. We will soon. But we're doing number 3 here, so let's do number 3 here. What is our verb? We have it labeled as an AV, so our verb here is celebrates. Who or what celebrates? The other pioneers. Okay? And then we have a prepositional phrase that's describing the other pioneers. By Roberto Felix Salazar. And then you're done. You're done with number 3. The last one I want to do is number 5. Number 5. Now, number 5 has something that can be a little bit confusing, and since we haven't been in class together, it's been tough to go over it. And that is this idea of Mexican and Anglo. We talked about it a little bit with the word American. Sometimes we're talking about an American who is a person, but sometimes it's used as a describing word like the American flag. So you have to look at context. You have to look at the words in the sentence. So let's go through and find our nouns. Mexican and Anglo settlers left their mark on the Texas landscape. Well, I know settlers is a noun. Oh, mark, that's a thing. Landscape, that's a thing. We've got Mexican and Anglo, and we also got Texas, but I don't know if they're acting as nouns here. Let's check. Which settlers? Mexican and Anglo. Both of those are describing which settlers. You don't need to worry about the word and right now. Next, which mark? Their mark. Which landscape? The and Texas landscape. Again, here, Texas is not acting like the state of Texas. It's describing which landscape, so it is an adjective. Do we have anything else? Oh, prepositions. Yep, on is always a preposition. Parenthesis, go to the noun, close the parenthesis. The only word we have left is the word left. And it is what they did. The settlers left their mark on the Texas landscape. So let's look at our diagram sheet. What is our verb in number 5? What is our verb? It is left. So we can find our verb spot, and we write the word left. And we ask ourselves, who or what left? The settlers. Okay, now do we have any modifiers, any words describing which settlers? We do. We have Mexican and Anglo. Okay? So, don't need to overcomplicate it. Right now, we're not diagramming every single piece of the sentence. As we move forward, we will. But we are doing our basic understanding, and we're just adding pieces as we go along. Let us do one more where you only need to do, actually, this is one of those ones. Here on the land were the marks of these early settlers. This is what we call an inverted sentence. And if you don't know what an inverted sentence is, see, inverted sentence. If you don't know what that is, you need to check your notes. It's in the PowerPoint, but it is also in your notes packet. So it's actually on this thing right here. If you're wondering what an inverted sentence is, you look at day 2 notes. Day 2 notes. Sentence example. Oh, it's the last sentence example right there. This is called an inverted sentence, and it tells you that the verb is going to come before the subject, so you're going to need to know that the subject is coming afterward. Also, don't ignore this. Whenever it tells you to see notes, you're going to go back to the notes that are in this book. So you're going to go notes VI, so that's 6. See notes 6. See how they actually have Roman numerals? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, oh, and then down here is 6. How to diagram an inverted sentence. And it's going to give you direct directions, meaning straightforward, exact directions on how you can solve that problem, okay? Grammar is a problem-solving class. It is not just a labeling and language class, meaning you need to figure out ways to help yourself. Last thing, let's do number 2's jobs. So number 2, it has an underlined word, which means it has a job on the back page. So let's go to our back page. In number 2, the word took. What did we have took as labeled as? It's an action verb. What jobs do action verbs do? They always do the job of verb. Let's do number 3. Number 3, what's our underlined word? Oh, these. These Texas pioneers. So these. It is it's an adjective. Adjectives are always what? Modifiers. And this is why we do the labeling the way that we do. The labeling helps us so that we are able to do this part, okay? So, if you have any questions, please make sure you connect with me. But I'm also going to challenge you to try to start figuring some things out for yourself, because that is what grammar is. It's a problem-solving class, and I know you can figure it out, okay? I'll talk to you guys soon.